So you're trying to write a romantasy book, but you're not sure if you should use a pen name. Maybe you're worried about your privacy. Maybe you're not sure about the legal ramifications of writing under a pen name. Or maybe you're worried your grandma might find out that you write fairy smut and never speak to you again. In this video, we're going over 4 things to consider when deciding whether or not to use a pen name. So by the end, you can confidently take one more step in building your author career, regardless of where you are in your writing journey. Pen names are a long-standing tradition in literature, and writers use them for all kinds of reasons. Privacy, genre separation, creating a distinct persona or a reader experience, business separation, marketability, pronunciation. Every writer's reason is unique and personal. Deciding on using a pen name or not early on in your career can set you up for success, though, because it's much easier to set up your author career from scratch rather than changing your marketing and branding later. But don't let that scare you into inaction. So let's put your mind at ease with the first thing to consider when deciding whether or not to use a pen name as a romantasy writer. Your first question: how important is your privacy and anonymity? Think about your day-to-day job, your family, your community. Are you a teacher, a nurse, someone in a conservative industry or social circle? Do you have kids who'd be mortified? Or, again, a grandma with delicate sensibilities? Writing under a pen name creates a clean boundary between your personal life and your author life. And for a lot of writers, that boundary isn't just comfortable, it's absolutely necessary. Think about it. If you offhandedly tell your boss you're writing a book, would you be mortified to discover they looked you up over the weekend and found you fangirling over your newest drool-worthy baddie, aka your book boyfriend shadow daddy? Ponder that for a minute, because nobody wants to chat with HR about their off-the-clock activities. In part, this is why I chose to publish my first book under a pen name. That book was an erotic romance, and I didn't really want my employers, family, or unsuspecting friends looking at my name and finding out my dirty little secret. I found I could write more freely if I wasn't constricted by what people close to me might think of my genre choice. So along those lines, there's also the practical reality of the internet to consider. Having a pen name doesn't make you invisible, but it does create a sort of friction. It means someone has to want to find the real you rather than stumbling across you accidentally. For many romantasy writers, especially those writing in spicy or adult subgenres, that friction is worth a lot. On the flip side, however, if you're someone who wants to build a deeply personal brand where readers feel like they know you, a pen name can sometimes create emotional distance that you didn't intend. So ask yourself honestly, do I want to be known, or do I want my work to be known? Both are totally valid answers. They just lead you in slightly different directions. The second question to ask yourself: do you plan to write under more than one genre? Traditionally, if a writer was writing under more than one genre, using a pen name was practically a given because readers expected loyalty. A romance reader didn't want to pick up what she thought was a swoon-worthy love story and find herself in the middle of a murder mystery. So authors kept their worlds separate and their names separate too. But that mindset is shifting, and Romantasy is actually a great example of why. Think about Rebecca Yarros. She built her career writing contemporary romance, Then she walked straight into epic fantasy with Fourth Wing, and now has arguably the biggest romantasy following in the world. It's the same author, same name, completely different genre, and readers followed her without even blinking. Because in today's market, readers are following people as much as they're following genres. Your personality, your voice, your online presence, those are what build loyalty now, not just your genre choice. So the old rule, one genre, one name, it's not dead, but it has a lot more flexibility than it used to. But here's where the line still exists though. It's less about genre and more about audience mismatch. Ask yourself how far apart your genres actually are. Cozy mystery and sweet romance? Probably fine under one name. The readers overlap more than you might think. But if you're writing children's books and erotica, that's a hard no. Those audiences don't just not overlap, they actively conflict. And one name serving both creates real confusion and potential damage to both sides of your career. So the question isn't really, am I writing in more than one genre? It's, would my readers in one genre be genuinely surprised or put off to discover the other genre? If the answer is yes, separate the names. If the answer is probably not, simplicity wins. And question 3, do you have other business considerations or an existing online presence? Do you sell writing planners on Etsy? Do you offer author advice on TikTok? Do you lead a Romantasy community on Discord? If you're running ventures that target writers rather than readers, you may want to think about whether a separate name creates helpful clarity or just unnecessary complexity. Because here's the thing nobody talks about enough. Every additional name is an additional digital life. Separate emails, separate social media accounts, separate websites, separate publishing platforms. The administrative weight adds up faster than you'd think, and before long, you're spending more time managing names than actually writing under them. This is exactly why I decided to consolidate everything under one name, Serafina August, rather than maintaining a separate business brand and a separate author brand. I'm speaking to both Romantasy readers and writers, so one name made sense for me. And honestly, I quickly learned I'd rather be writing than logging into 12 different accounts. But that decision was easier for me because I didn't have an existing online presence to consider when I was first starting out. If you do, that changes things slightly. An existing audience, even a small one, is actual humans who already trust you. So before you start fresh with a brand new pen name, ask yourself whether your current followers overlap with the readers or writers that you want to attract. If you've built even a small community around books, writing, or creativity, consider bringing them with you rather than abandoning them and starting fresh. Because a warm audience of 200 people who already know and like you will outperform a cold audience of 2,000 every single time. So the real question here is, what can you realistically sustain? Choose the path that keeps you writing, not the one that keeps you administrating. Question 4, is your given name already in use, difficult to pronounce, problematic, or misaligned with your genre? Here's a few practical considerations to check on before you decide. So first, is there already a published author with your name? Do a quick Amazon and Google search. If someone else is writing in a similar genre under your name, you're going to spend your entire career fighting for search real estate that you're never going to win. That alone can be reason enough to choose something different. And then second, how does your given name read on a cover? Your name is part of your brand aesthetic. For Romantasy specifically, there's a certain lyrical, slightly otherworldly quality that tends to resonate with readers. Serafina August. That doesn't mean your given name can't work, but hold it up next to the kind of covers in your genre and ask yourself honestly whether it fits the world that you're trying to build. And third, can your target audience pronounce and remember your given name easily? I know this one is not fair, but it matters more than you'd think. Word of mouth is still one of the most powerful marketing tools that a writer has. If readers can't say your name confidently to a friend, that's a small but significant barrier. Now, if you have a unique given name, don't choose a pen name just to placate your readers. Readers connect with your story as a writer, and your name is part of that. So only take this into account if there's a genuine concern about accessibility for your audience. And finally, does your name feel like you? Not the you who goes to the grocery store, but the you who writes stories about vampire courts and slow burn romance and magic systems. Your pen name can be a creative act in and of itself, so let it be a part of your creative expression if that feels right. And even though pen names and artist names are super common in creative spaces, I mean, heck, look at every rapper ever, am I right? I know it can feel like a huge deal choosing the right path or the right pen name. But here's the thing. You can't choose wrong. Seriously, the only wrong choice is not making a decision at all. Take me, for example. It took me 2 pen names and 3 business names to realize that I wanted simplicity and alignment instead of complexity and overthinking, so that I could focus on the thing that mattered most to me, which was my writing. And that's how I landed on the one name, Serafina August, instead of multiple names. When it comes to choosing whether or not to use a pen name, weigh your options, trust your gut, and make an informed decision based on the information that you have right now. Whatever you decide, let it serve you in this moment. You're not locked in place for eternity. You can always make a change later. But for now, your best choice is simply to decide and not to second guess yourself. Okay, pen name decision handled. You are welcome. But here's what I want to leave you with. The name you write under matters a lot less than whether you actually sit down to write. And if you're finding that harder than it sounds, if fear, self-doubt, or that nagging voice telling you you're not ready keeps getting in the way, I made something for you. It's a free 5-day email series that tackles the biggest mindset blocks that beginner writers face. Time, experience, originality. We're going to be blowing all of them up one day at a time. It's completely free, and the sign-up link is in the description below. And if this video helped you, tell us in the comments, are you going with a pen name or are you going to choose your given name? Remember, your story can help another writer. I'll see you in the next video, and keep writing, my friend.